Hello, and welcome to this week Leadership Advancement Mentorship podcast. I'm so excited and to be sharing something that's going to impact your life with you today. My name is Dr. Michael Koku, and it's my privilege to share this with you. And 2 weeks ago, we had a session on how to leverage failure, and it was a very unique subject that I gave the acronym on leverage, on how to leverage failure. But today, I want to be specific about really going to another level and how we can actually leverage failure as a catalyst for your own personal and professional growth. You see, many people, they have a different mindset about failure. Maybe you've experienced failure before, and I know either you want to accept it or not, every one of us, we have something in common in that we have experienced failure. But the thing is, just like the way we see failure really matters is the way we look at it, the way we view it. Because if you want to multiply your success, you have to double your failure. Yeah. But listen to this. The real failure is failing to learn from your failure. That's the real failure. So this is what we call failure redefined. Because when you fail, there's a way you feel about it. We all have felt that way before. There's this kind of emotional letdown, and you just start doubting your ability, your capability, and all that. I remember one time when I was in medical school, and I failed a major exam, and that would take me from my preclinical class to the clinical class. It was a very challenging experience for me. Very challenging experience. It's not like a test that, when you fail a test, even though that's very challenging, that you can still do better in the second test. But this one was a major exam that, and because I didn't pass that particular exam, I have to stay back. And it was really challenging. It comes with so many emotions and all that stuff. But the thing I want to encourage you today is failure is a terrible thing to waste. I want to start seeing failure as a lemon. Now, let me share this story with you. There's a man called Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey was in his 20s, and he was making a lot of money, and he has a license from real estate, and he lives in Tennessee. And this man, from a young man, before he left college, he was involved in real estate. Then he started flipping houses after he got married. And at 26, he was a millionaire and making more than $250,000 in a year. But the problem that he has is this man was borrowing money from the bank to flip houses. Flipping houses means people that they will buy a house, in a very bad state, they'll fix it. And after they fix it, they will now sell it for a higher amount of money. But the problem that he had is this. He was doing this, getting money from banks that are in his neighborhood until that same bank got sold. And other bigger financial companies, they bought the bank from another state, and they begin to look at the record of the bank. And they now saw that it's a 26-year-old that has been he had like $4 million of real estate. And out of those money, 1.3 million belongs to him, but the rest was borrowed. So he normally borrow the money and he will return the money back. But they called the note early. And the new owners of the bank, and because they were like, how can a 26-year-old be making so much money? And they decided to reduce to their relationship with him, which is bankers' way for ruining him. And he couldn't pay up during the time that they gave him. And because of that, he just filed up for bankruptcy. It was very challenging, that it was really I mean, his car got repossessed, and after his car got repossessed and his water got cut off, I mean, it's light. I mean, it was a real terrible time with just having a new baby with already a 2.5-year-old the kids already in the house. It was so tough for Dave Ramsey. Then he began to learn from people that have money and kept it. Then one day, one of his friends said, "Now, Dave, you got so many lemons. I think you need to start making lemonade out of your lemons." And that was when Dave Ramsey now began to pick up himself. No, one thing about failure is when people fail, it tends to put you down. You just down. I mean, there's a feeling called anhedonia that some people experience. Anhedonia means total loss of interest. They don't want to do nothing. They just want to feel that everything should just end. And it's really a very real emotional experience. But today I want to show you how can you leverage failure and use it as a catalyst for your personal and professional growth. That's what we want to talk about today. Because that's Dave Ramsey was able to leverage failure. He bounced back and he created a company called Ramsey Solutions that is now that has helped more than 10 million people in America, North American continent, to get out of debt. I am privileged to be one of the class coordinator of the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. And it's really fun helping so many people. But this is the point I want to make. This same man is close to be the billionaire today. He was able to bounce back. He was able to rise. I want to note that word, R-I-S-E. He was able to rise from the ashes of failure and use failure as a catalyst for his own personal and professional growth. So let me show you how to do that, because I've been doing a lot of research on this. Now, to leverage failure. Now, first of all, I want to, we're talking about leveraging failure as a catalyst for your personal and professional growth. The word leverage, I want us to really understand what leverage means. Now, in talking about leverage, I'm not talking about leverage as a noun. I'm talking about leverage as a verb. So the word leverage means to use something to its maximum advantage. That's what leverage means, the verb form of leverage. It means to use something. So that means failure is something that we all can use to a maximum advantage. Yes, instead of wasting it, instead of feeling the regret about failure and all that, it's something that we can use. So no matter where you have failed before, in fact, the word fail means first attempt in learning. You can use failure to your maximum advantage. I just finished reading a book by Michael Dell. Michael Dell is the CEO and the chairman of Dell Technologies. And after finishing that book, the book is called Play Nice But Win. The book is called Play Nice But Win. Now, after I finished writing the book, he listed 21 things that he believed. And out of those 21 things, I was able to highlight one of the lessons that has helped him and his company. So I want to read that quote as part of the number 16 out of those things, the lesson that he has learned. He called it the traits, the qualities, and the principles that undergird his own success. So let me read this quote to you by Michael Dell. Michael Dell said, "Success is a horrible teacher." He said, "Success is a horrible teacher. Setbacks and failures make you stronger over time if you let yourself learn from them." I want you to note that word. Setbacks and failures make you stronger over time if you learn from them. Oh, there's a condition to it. If That means if you don't learn from them, it's not going to make you stronger. So that means when we learn from failure and setbacks, someone said setback is a setup for a comeback. So when you learn from failure and setbacks, it's now become a beautiful resource. It becomes a lemon that you can turn into lemonade. Now, look at what Bill Gates said. Bill Gates said, it is fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lesson of failure. And Bill Gates knows what he was talking about, because his first company, we know about Microsoft. There's a first company that Bill Gates started. It was called Data. That was the company that he first of all started. And nobody has heard about that company before, because he failed when he started the company. But the truth is this, there's a lot of lessons that we can learn. We can pay attention to those lessons and then use failure as a leverage. And we can leverage that failure as a catalyst for our own personal and professional growth. Now, the thing I want to get is this: we must not be afraid of failure. Michael D. Esner said, fear of failure is far worse condition than failure itself, because it kills off possibilities. The fear of failure is what destroys possibilities. People that are afraid to fail, they don't fare well in life. And that's the thing about it. So you need to be ready to fail, but when you fail, be ready to leverage your failure as a catalyst for your own personal and professional growth. So let's see how to do that. Now I want to share something with you, and this will really be very helpful as we kind of like just translate. I promise you an acronym, and just intentionally, I just want to bring that acronym so that I want you to get this very quickly. Like we talk about leveraging failure as a catalyst for your personal and professional growth. Now we're going to be using, like I told you, leverage, and I've been explained what that leverage is all about. Leverage is to use something to a maximum advantage. So we are exploring how you can use failure to your maximum advantage. And what we're going to use is, we will be using this power of leverage. In this power of leverage, we'll be using the acronym called RISE. RISE. So this RISE acronym is very important. I want you to pay attention to it. So this RISE, I'm using this on purpose because RISE means we rising from the ashes of failure to use it as a catalyst for our personal and professional growth. So the R is reflect and learn. Reflect and learn. That's what the R is. The I is innovate and adapt. Innovate and adapt. The X is stay resilient. Stay resilient. And then the E is embrace growth. So we're looking at how to leverage failure. We're looking at leveraging failure as a catalyst for your own personal and professional growth using the RISE acronym. The RISE is very symbolical. It talks how you can get up when you fall, when you fail. The real failure is not rising up. So you can rise up to the occasion. And you fail, yes. What's the big deal? Great people have failed. Talk about so many people, but their attitude to failure is different. They turn that lemon into lemonade. Many times we just hear about great invention. Case in point, Thomas Edison. They asked him, how many times did you fail? He said, I didn't fail. I just find out how it doesn't work. And he did that electric bulb for 10,000 times. Just imagine. And that's one of the key in rising up leveraging failure is the power of resilience. And I'll be showing you how to unlock resilience. First of all, like I said, the RISE acronym, we want to reflect and learn. We want to innovate and adapt, stay resilient, and embrace growth. So let me just take you through this content like I promised you. So the RISE is reflect and learn. Reflect and learn. Now, what we want to do right here is, I want you to know that successful individuals embrace failure as an opportunity for reflection and learning. They analyze what went wrong and extract valuable lessons from their experience. You see, you can extract valuable lessons from your experience. Like Macadell talks about, that we can become stronger when we face setbacks and failure if we are ready to learn from it. There are so many valuable lessons that you can extract. But in order to make that extraction a possibility, you need to reflect. How do you reflect? Now, let me give you what we called the reflection Kickstarter. The reflection Kickstarter involves you asking yourself 3 different questions. Number 1, what went right? Number 2, what went wrong? And number 3, what can I do differently? This is so powerful. You see, experience is not the best teacher, but evaluated experience is the best teacher. In fact, we are supposed to do reflection every day. Reflection is something that we're supposed to do every day. Someone said, experience is only the best teacher when you add assessment. That's when you add assessment, that's when experience become the best teacher. But without assessment, experience is not the best teacher. So reflection and learning is the first thing to do in leveraging failure as a catalyst for your own personal and professional growth. So you have to reflect. Reflect. You have to reflect, and that helps in you to start drawing lessons from failure. Like Bill Gates said, and we've talked about that when he talk about it is fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lesson of failure, paying attention to what went right, what went wrong, and what you can do differently. Now, the second thing we're going to look at is innovate and adapt. Innovate and adapt. So we've looked at reflection. So we have looked at reflect and learn. So the second thing we want to look at is innovate and adapt. Instead of being discouraged by failure, great men and women, they use it as a motivation to innovate and adapt. They explore new approaches and strategies so that they can leverage failure as a catalyst for creative thinking and problem solving. Now, this is what I want to get to you. How do you innovate and how do you adapt? Now, there's a difference between innovation and invention. Invention is starting something from scratch. When you invent, you start something from scratch. But innovation is when you take what is already has been done and you make an adjustment. So innovation is all about tweaking something. To tweak, I know you've heard that word before, is to make an adjustment. I remember one time, there's this acronym that I created in one of my books. In case you are here to get this book is available on Amazon. You can get it. This book is called The 5 Keys to Effective Networking. And I use the acronym right here called LIGHT in this book. So I use the LIGHT acronym, LIGHT. L is love, I, intentionality, then G is getting up and go, and H is humility, and T is time. That's what I use. But initially, I have always taught the content as HTILE. Then one day after I was having a leadership training for a leadership team, and after that, I like to reflect. Anytime I do something major, I like to reflect. So my reflection time can just involve I just take my phone off. I just want to relax, sleep over, just sleep over, just sleep. And when I sleep and when I wake up, I'm still kind of like going over that experience. What went right? What went wrong? What can I do differently? Because I want to show you that reflection is the key to innovation. When you learn to reflect as an habit, you will begin to innovate. Great innovators, they don't have to do things from the scratch, but they can see what is already in existence and rearrange it. And that's how they create a new patency, a new idea, a new concept, a new insight. And that's what I did. So I was able to take my original idea and turn it into something much more impactful. So I was able to innovate that acronym. Like I said, I'm very good at acronym. If you know me very well, acronym is one of my strengths. So I used that acronym. I was able to rearrange it and come up with something empowering that has helped a lot of people. So the second way in which to leverage failure and use it as a catalyst for your own personal and professional growth is through innovation and adaptation. Innovate and adapt. And the third one, of course, is stay resilient. Stay resilient. Stay resilient. Staying resilient is key in order to really rise up to rise. And we've talked about the first one, innovate. So the third one is stay resilient. So resilient is key to bouncing back from failure. Successful individuals maintain a positive mindset, persevere through challenges, and stay resilient in the face of setback. The question is this: how do you stay resilient in the face of setback? How? How do you stay resilient in the face of setbacks? You see, when thrown against the wall, you can either be an egg or a tennis ball. It's a choice. Staying resilient is a choice. But let me give you how to unlock resilience, how to stay resilient. I've actually shared this before, but I want to give it to you as part of this package. Now, let me give you this acronym if you want to stay resilient. To stay resilient, I want you to be mindful of this acronym called PURPOSE. PURPOXE, purpose. The first key to stay resilient is picture your possibilities. If you want to stay resilient, you must picture your possibilities. What do I mean by picturing your possibilities? Now, picturing your possibilities begin with visualizing success and focusing on the potential outcomes. You have to visualize success. Stop visualizing yourself losing. Visualize success. You have to picture your possibilities. A lot of people, all they see is obstacles. They don't see possibilities. Ellen Keller said, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. That's what it is. You have to picture your possibilities. By envisioning a brighter future, you can maintain motivation and perseverance even in the most challenging times. Learn to picture your possibilities. Now, let me tell you, this is very, very important. Like I told you, when I failed my first professional exam when I was in the medical school, for a long time, I couldn't picture myself crossing over from the preclinical side of medical school to the clinical side of medical school. I could picture other people crossing over, but I couldn't picture myself. And that was a real problem. This is not just a funny or something, a goofy stuff that I'm sharing. This is real. It really happened to me. I couldn't picture it. Until one day, I started seeing myself, not others. I started seeing myself crossing over like others. And that was the shift for me. It's just like a man that I know. This man used to be a pilot to Aura Robot. He could picture himself as a pilot to another person, but he couldn't picture himself as owning the plane. It's so funny, but that's the truth. Until one day, he broke that barrier. He began to see himself not just as a pilot to another person, but as being the owner of the plane. That even though he can still be the pilot, but he's the one flying his own plane. This man's name is Kenneth Copeland, and he has given more than 30 jets out to another people just to bless them, because he pictured his possibilities. So to staying resilient, we just talked about the purpose acronym. So we talked about the P, picture your possibilities. The second one is U. Use your failure or mistake as a learning tool. Like I said, failure is a terrible thing to waste. Use it as a learning tool. Failure is not the end, but rather a stepping stone to growth and success. Thomas Edison famously remarked that I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. You have to embrace the failures as a valuable lessons that propel you forward. Each setbacks that we face offers an opportunity for reflection, learning, and improvement. So use it. A lot of people are wasting failure. Use failure or your mistake as a learning tool. Then the next one is reach out for support. Reach out for support. You see, failure loses its punch when you are in a community. You need to reach out for support. Most of the time that we get when we reach out is perspective. When we reach out for support, we get what we don't have. Seeking support from others is crucial during tough times. Look at what Brené Brown said. Brené Brown said something. He said, we don't have to do it all alone. We were never meant to. We all have three gaps. We have the knowledge gap, the experience gap, and the perspective gap. And we can close this gap when we reach out for support. The next alphabet is P. Put things in right perspective. Now, putting things in the right perspective helps us to stay resilient. If you want to stay resilient, you must learn to put things in right perspective. Because at times when people fail, things get so much hyped up. Emotions it clouds the mind. But we can put things in the right perspective. Because you have the power to control what is on the inside of you. By reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, you can navigate obstacles with greater clarity and resilience. The next alphabet is O, operate with optimism. Winston Churchill said, the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, while the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. You have to cultivate optimism by focusing on solutions, remaining hopeful, and believing in your ability to overcome adversity. The next alphabet to stay resilient is X, serve others. Serving others is very, very important. It turns the attention from you to others because it's based on the principle of contribution. Contributing to something greater than yourself provides you the platform for purpose and meaning and in staying resilient. Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So whether it's volunteering, mentoring, or supporting your community, serving others will not only strengthen your social connection, but also foster resilience by reinforcing your sense of purpose and belonging. So to stay resilient, the last alphabet is E. You need to embrace joy. Amidst challenges, finding moments of joy and gratitude is essential for you to stay resilient. It's so important. You need to embrace joy. Joy releases the force of endurance. You need to cultivate joy by focusing on the present moment, practicing gratitude, and engaging in activities that brings you happiness and fulfillment. So this is how to stay resilient. So we've talked about on how to using the RISE acronym. So in leveraging failure as a catalyst for your personal and professional growth. Talk about the R, reflection and learning. You reflect and learn. Talk about the I, innovate and adapt. The X, stay resilient. And the last one, E, embrace growth. Embrace growth. Embrace growth. Embracing growth is a very, very unique way in leverage failure. Rather than viewing failure as a roadblock, great men and women see it as a stepping stone to growth. That's how to embrace growth. Look at that failure in the eye and see it as an opportunity for growth. They embrace failure as a natural part of the journey towards success. And in doing this, they were able to grow. They use it as a fuel for their personal and professional growth. This is how you can rise up from the ashes of failure and use it as a catalyst for your personal and professional growth. Now, this series is so rich, and I'll be continuing next week. Next week, I'll be sharing an acronym with you called failure. This will further help you to change the way you see failure and start using failure as a fuel to fuel your resilience and also as a catalyst for your personal and professional growth. My name is Dr. Michael Koku, and I want to say thank you for being part of this podcast today, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you.